Hey y'all, we're back with another intro with this same sweatshirt because it's super comfy. If you want a self love hoodie, you know where you can go? eatprayfml.com. Yes, I'm plugging this in for my girl Gabrielle Stone. Go get it, it's so comfy. And if you haven't read her books, go read those. But let's hop into hi! Welcome to another episode, y'all. I have a lovely, lovely guest. It was one of my other teachers from acting school, Abigail Zealey-Bess. I adore this woman. She is just absolutely wonderful. I loved working with her in school. I loved hearing her stories. I really hope you guys enjoy the episode. Thank you again, Abigail, for hopping on with me. And as always, like, comment, and share.
Hello. Hey,
Yeah,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm sorry about that. It was telling me to update all kinds of things.
Oh no, I got you. Zoom can be a little weird
Oh,
sometimes.
sorry. Didn't
No,
start my.
you're fine. Oh, I love your room setup.
Oh, thank you. It's the lounge.
I love it.
The lounge.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, it's comfy. That's for sure. How are you doing?
Mhm.
I like this background. It looks
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you. I'm doing really good. How are you?
It's yeah, great. Is it? Who are those people?
So a lot of these people are from either The Walking Dead, The Vampire Diaries. Um, One is from American Horror Story. I don't know if you know who Evan Peters is, or
No.
if you've heard of him, but Evan Peters as well.
What?
I watch wrestling every now and then, so there's a couple wrestlers up there. I love going to Comic Cons. It's like my thing. So I've been to a bunch of them.
And what do you do when you go to Comic Cons? What do you do? Do you is there someone that you've usually gone to talk to specifically?
Yeah, so Comic Con, some of them are different. Some of them are more meet and greet oriented, which is the ones I usually go to. But then there's ones where you can just strictly dress up, and that's called cosplay. But usually I go to the ones where you meet people. And most of them have there's, I would say, a dozen, if not more, actors that they bring in. Some of them are more focused on one TV show specifically, and some of them are more wider range. Um, but usually how I plan it out is I just see what cons I've been to, like when they post, uh, who's going to them. If there's a decent amount of people that are going that I really want to see, I plan with my parents. A couple of them I went to in my hometown. So it was easier to just be like, okay, if I'm going to see one person, that's fine because I'm only going right down the street. Whereas if I was going to a different con, it would depend on how far it is. I would rather go to one where I'm seeing multiple people than just one person, even if I really wanted to meet them. It would just be worth more of the lengthy travel.
Sure, sure. Did you ever go to any here?
Well, I've been to a couple in New Jersey, but not New York specifically. But there's one called New York Comic Con, and that's the second biggest one in the country. And I've always wanted to go to that one, but tickets sell out really fast, and that one is a little bit more expensive than
Yeah,
most. But hopefully one day I'll get to go to that one.
yeah. I
I
think
want to be a guest at them eventually, so we'll see. I love them. I love them. It's so fun. So
no, I know it's. I always hear about them. Like a few of my friends are huge. Well, it's like it covers it's Marvel. It's all of those fantastic, and horror, and all of those ones. So, um, yeah, I can understand. I can understand why you want to go. Or
right.
yeah, actually, a friend of mine. You might know her, Judith Roberts. She's this really amazing older actress who she was in the original Eraserhead, and she original. There's only one, the Eraserhead. And then but she also is this incredible. Does these horror films? I think it was called. I want to say dumb mute or something. She played a ventriloquist with this crazy doll that murders everything. And she was I watched this film honestly, and I know her really well, and I had to keep going, it's Judith, it's Judith, it's Judith, over and over, because it was so terrifying. She's so scary. Not in life. Not in life.
Well, see, my goal is I love horror films. So I'm open to other genres, but I really, really am looking into being more of a horror actress. I want to be the final girl. That's like a dream of mine. I love it.
Killed at the beginning.
Oh, I wouldn't get killed at the beginning. I'd be the one living at the end. No. Well, I mean, might have to take a couple jobs of dying first before I can get that final girl.
Killed up to living.
That's also very true.
You have to die, you've had sex or you've done something like unholy, whatever. Yeah. What was it that film, Drew Barrymore? She was killed in the first 10 minutes, wasn't she?
Oh, Scream?
She was already obviously pretty well known in her own right, but I guess she thought it would be fun to just she didn't have to, probably got paid.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all aspects of horror is really fun. I don't know, like I can see it being fun to get killed off first, but then you're also like, I want more. I want to have more in it. I want to have more fun in it. So I don't know. I mean, Drew Barrymore has done numerous films in numerous genres.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, I would start anywhere if it came to a horror film audition offer.
Well,
so
horror's there's so much. I mean, it's never going to go out of fashion. Do you know what I mean? Like there's certain genres which are always have that kind of oh, it's this genre now. But horror is a genre which it might change. The style of horror might change a little bit. Like you have all the slasher movies, or you have all the Saw movies, or you have all the Scream movies. So which become, or The Ring. All of those ones which are really kind of. Actually, I really like The Ring, but I love. Do you watch any Japanese? I love, and they obviously make. Well, some of the remakes haven't been too bad, but the Japanese, which was originally The Ring and Grudge, right?
Yeah.
That was also they both originally Japanese, and
yeah.
Oh, was it Japanese or was it Korean? Sorry, not. Anyway, they're great.
It might have been Korean actually, but now you have me thinking. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, no, they're really. The Ring is terrifying, man. Oh my god, I was sitting there with my nephew, and he was like, "Can I sit next to you?" And I was like, "Yeah." We were like this,
right? Well, I mean, it's like creepy.
Yeah, horror. No, horror's a great genre to get into. I think every film that I don't think I've actually ever made. I mean, I've made films which are in that kind of genre, but they're not pure horror. But I certainly would love to make one. Actually, one day would be fun.
Are they like the films you've done, like more thriller like?
They're more magical realism, which is not horror at all. But they're more quirky, dark comedy as opposed to out and out horror. So they're more like they're kind of quirky and weird as opposed to and a bit dark, as opposed to, not all of them, but certainly not the earlier ones, but the later ones seem to have taken that turn. I guess as I get older, I get more and more cynical. No, that's not true. No. Cynical at all, I really don't. So yeah.
My dad got me on horror films since I was like a baby. So I remember like being 5 and watching Chucky and not being fazed. But then my family always told me growing up, like if they dressed up as like Michael Myers or Jason or whatever, or they brought out like my aunt, she used to have a Chucky doll. And when my cousins and I were bad, she would bring it out and be like, if you don't stop, he's going to come after you. I would watch the movie, wouldn't faze me. But if I saw somebody in a costume or I saw that doll, I was freaking out. And I don't remember that. I don't know if I had extreme trauma and just pushed it out of my brain. But like, It's not like they were doing anything like intentionally. It was literally just like around Halloween or something and they're dressing up. And then I would freak out. And I was like, really? Like, how would I sit there and watch the movie and then get freaked out when it's right there? And it's the same thing in my brain now. But I don't know. It just makes me laugh hearing those stories because I love watching Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
I love all of those.
I remember when that first Freddy Krueger film came out, and it was so over the top. I just thought it was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing. And I know it's pretty scary, right? But that first one, I just remember because it was so heightened in that really amazing horror way that you were just, how can you be scared by this? It's just so hilarious. But I guess they did get scarier. I mean, Freddy Krueger is kind of an icon unto himself, isn't
Oh yeah.
he?
Because actually there was one day, I think this is what it's called. It's on YouTube. I think it's called Never Sleep Again. And it's literally like a documentary on every single film and like how the actors got their auditions, how filming process was, how writing was. It was like from 10 years ago though. It's a little older now, obviously, but I just like seeing the process and like hearing the process, like it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
people don't, and I say this about like literally any film, but like people just don't realize what goes into a film, how much goes into a film. And they were on a very small budget for the first film. Like they was in theaters and were like, well, if we don't make anything, we're screwed. And it's like, look how big it is now. It's insane.
Well, that's the same thing as what happened with the witch. Oh, what was the witch one? The one that it was all shot in.
Blair Witch Project?
Yes, the Blair Witch Project, and that had cues around. I've never seen it actually. I've never seen it.
I think it was filmed actually where I'm from in Pittsburgh, or like somewhere in PA, and it came out the year I was born. So, but
yeah, you should. Yeah, that's. Thank you, Bryn, for showing my age.
I'm sorry.
Joking, totally joking. Yeah, so yeah, that film had cues around, and you know what was special about that was the marketing was absolutely brilliant. The marketing campaign, you thought it was real. Actually, the way they marketed it was it felt like a documentary that was based on a true case, and it wasn't. It was a pile of crap. But it was such a great marketing concept and blew everything out the water in so many ways. But they did because it was all, you know, supposedly happening, and they shot it with a camera which was never on sticks probably, let alone anything else. So it had this very kind of shaky quality to the camera. And a lot of people said, oh, it made me feel sick and nauseous. But yeah, kind of amazing.
Yeah, the way that they did it was so realistic, and I think that's something that's not like done a lot, if that makes sense how I phrased it and such. But it was like, it literally scared people. People thought like those actors were like dead. Like, no, that was literally just a movie. That's it.
Yeah. They was like, hi guys. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting, you know, the concept that people come up with, and then what takes off. Because I actually remember thinking with that film, I was like, oh, when I knew it wasn't real, I actually wasn't so interested in seeing it. I was very interested in seeing it before, when I thought it was, you know, a real experience, a documentary type experience. But yeah, so you'll have to tell me what you think when you see it.
Oh, I've already seen it. It's been a really long time.
Oh,
Yeah. It's good. I love it. It's see, when I watch horror films now, I have this really picky thing of, I feel like there needs to be a balance of gore and like jump scare type stuff.
Right.
And if you can't find the balance, it's either gonna keep the audience or turn it completely off. And yeah, I don't think it's a big struggle now. I feel like a lot of movies are picking up on that. But for a while, I thought like it was either too much gore or too much like just scariness. Yeah.
So what's your favorite type of horror film then?
Wow. Well, I've always loved the Halloween movies. Like, I love Michael Myers. Like, he's always been my favorite.
Yeah. Do you like psychological thrillers?
Yes.
So if you had to, have you seen Don't Look Now? That's one of my favorites. I can't.
Don't look, don't look now.
I could barely watch it actually. Yeah, it's with Julie Christie and Donald Sutherland, and it's one of those real psychological thrillers. It's scary shit, actually, scary shit. And there's a lot of really great things about that film, but they've lost a child, and they go to Italy to kind of recover on holiday, and then they start seeing. He starts getting premonitions about and there's also all these terrible murders going on, these like people getting killed mysteriously all over the city. It's in Venice, and I think it's set in Venice. It's so good. Yeah, it's so scary. I'm not going to tell you what happens because I'll spoil it.
Yeah, because I don't think I have seen it. I'm trying to think of other psychological thrillers off the top of my head.
What about the one that was really great that came out just recently, Get Out? That was good.
Oh, Get Out, Get Out. Yes, that one is incredible. This is it. No, it's called Us. I don't know why I was gonna call it This Is Us. That's a TV show. No, Us was another really good one. I don't, would that be psychological?
Was it? Was it the
Us?
one where they? Oh yeah, that was the same director,
Oh,
right?
yes, yes, it was. Okay, then yeah,
I haven't seen
that one was. Oh, you have to see it. That one was incredible. Like you want Lupita does. That was the most amazing performance I've seen in a really long time in a horror film, or like a psychological thriller, I should say. Like it was really good.
In fact, she was talking about that film. I think she said that her family were like, "You're just like this all the time." I know you're getting paid for it. She has a wicked sense of humor, apparently.
Oh yeah, I actually met her in New York. She was really sweet, and she actually gave me a little bit of acting advice. But she's a really good person. From the time I had talking to her and stuff.
What did she tell you?
Well, she told me. Well, first I told her, I was like, I'm an actor. Is there any like advice you can give me? And she was like, just live in the moment and be yourself. Don't hold back, and just always go for it. And I was like,
that's kind of good life. That's a good life tip.
That is also a very good life tip. And it's funny because I actually hear that from a majority of actors that I talk to. And I think it's really important to just really do those things regardless of your profession and who you are. And I always kind of have like a weird fear of like losing myself in a sense. So
you mean the part?
No, like just losing like who I am as a person and like completely changing into somebody that I never want to be, if that makes any sense. It's kind of, I know it sounds kind of weird, and I don't think it'll ever happen, but it just, that fear of it like terrifies me, because if I ever become the person that I never want to like see myself become, that's like the most terrifying thing to me. That's one of my biggest fears.
Well, I think, a lot of the times when you play certain roles, so you might lose yourself to some extent because you get so because you're so entrenched in the process and in what you're playing. So you might lose yourself a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay, because I think you can't really hope to give, if you don't give all of yourself to that performance, or to that, which is why some actors just, you can clearly see they've just gone there to the max. But if you don't give everything, there's always something more as well. Actually, I always think you can't give it all, there's always something more. But if you don't give everything, then you won't, if you don't commit, then it won't be as truthful and as honest as it could be. You know what I mean? And we all have the ability, and I think I said this to you before, we all have the ability as actors have the ability to go to every single A to Z litmus paper test, red to blue. They have that ability to be able to go to every kind of emotion and experience that you as a person living a regular life, you wouldn't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hey, welcome to the ride, babe.
Exactly. And it's, yeah, I mean, that I feel like it also goes into just like growing as a person too, and
Yeah.
like continuously learning and being open to things, and you know,
Never losing your curiosity.
there we go. You're not wrong.
No, and actors, you know, they have the luck of playing, so
Yeah,
playing for a living.
exactly.
Yeah, so that's helpful, I think, to have to always be able to hold on to your childish curiosity
Mm-hmm.
in any respect. I certainly feel like I've become. I'm going backwards as I get older. You think I'm kidding? No, no.
No.
You experienced it, right? God, that seems so long ago. It was only last year, though. No, it was this year. Last year. When were we together? Last year, right?
2019. Yeah.
Bloody hellfire.
So last year, technically. It is weird because then, even though I wasn't supposed to, well, was I? Would I have had you second semester or no?
No, because you have that class. One we then go in. Then the first years have
Um,
their first camera class. So you would have had your first camera class the previous spring.
gotcha. Okay.
Who did you have, Alan? You must have had Alan.
Yeah, first year I had Alan, and then I had you. I loved it.
No, that seems like that went fast. My God.
Did. Well, and then everything, just the whole year, and then now with everything going on, everything is so fast. It's, I don't know if I'm scared anymore or just like living.
How are you,
It's,
how are you dealing with the pandemic?
well, when spring break hit, the school sent, I don't know if you guys got the emails, but we all got emails basically saying, if you're going home, just stay home.
Yeah.
Until we hear more. And were pretty much they basically were putting, no, what's the word, insinuating that maybe that we were going to have online classes.
Oh yes. Yeah.
And yeah, and then we had that next week off, so then you guys could train and work with Zoom and everything before we
Yeah.
started classes up again. And so I've been home since spring break in March, and I actually went up like the last weekend of May finally to go get my stuff.
Yeah.
And I've still been home. My plan is to eventually move out to Georgia and start there and build my resume. I love New York, but I don't know. This past year it was really weird. I just didn't see myself living there.
Yeah.
And I've always loved the South, and I've been down there a couple times. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to go to Georgia, build my resume, and then once I'm ready and I feel like I'm at a good point, then I'll move out to LA. So, yeah, but that's not going to be till next year, obviously. And then we have student loans. So, I mean, am I stressed? A little bit, but I'm also just trying to stay as humble and grateful as
Yeah.
I can with where I'm at, and just kind of go with the flow and just go day by day.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's all you can do. I mean, I've actually found it like probably one of the busiest times that in spite of everything. So it hasn't been I don't know, I know some people are having a really hard time with it, but I'm really not actually. Like it's I mean you get a bit Zoom fatigued, but
Right.
then just try and balance those meetings out, or with the classes. It looks like a lot of the classes are going to be remote, and I really am curious to see how it plays out this fall, with trying to do blended and all of that stuff that's happening now. So
Right.
I don't know. You don't know if there's going to be another COVID outburst, or another, it's going to come back again, which it's supposed
Right.
to come back again. No one knows. And you can't really live your life by that. You just have to play it day by day. It is a bit like Big in the Moment, right? You feel like you're in
Exactly.
every day.
Exactly. It's because I try not to stress myself too much, because when I get too stressed, I don't want to say I freak out, but then I'm like, oh my gosh, my brain's going 10,000 miles an hour. I can't like think properly or process things properly. I'm just kind of like, Bryn, you need to breathe and just
Yeah.
deal with what you need to, one thing at a time.
Well, it's actually really refreshing to be able to think. I think that's one of the biggest things
Oh
that
yeah.
I mean, right before it was happening, because I wasn't at the conservatory in the spring because I was directing Spring Awakening. I was
Right.
there in spring because I was directing Spring Awakening. And that was, so it was, out in New Jersey. So that was like this commute every day, which was, I don't mind commuting, but that also but it was like crazy. It was like nonstop, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then, everything else. And then, so as soon as that, fortunately, thank God, the show went up, it was a fantastic success. They were amazing, those kids. And then after that, I was like, oh, wow, now I have time to chill and really kind of, it's not going to be like that nonstop craziness that it has been for the last 3 months. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, oh wow, when I thought I was have time to think, that was no joke. I mean, it was just like, it just suddenly went like that. It's great.
Yep.
It's amazing. It's just being able to really think about things you want to do, and that you never had time to do, because you're so busy fitting so much into a day. And this way it was like, well, you're not allowed, you can't do that, so you have to take the pressure off of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how people navigate
Right.
the next phase of their lives, because it is that next phase of their lives, whether they decide to go on to do some training somewhere else, or whether they start really going on that audition track, which, as we know, there's not much out there right now.
Exactly.
But you also, it's a great time to start your own work. And I think I applaud you for doing your own stuff, because I think that will keep you alive, and you should always be creating your own stuff anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've sent in a couple auditions. I actually got one for a horror like web series. So I still have to send in my self-tape, but I'm really excited about it, especially with the fact of like my my first actual audition outside of school is horror based, and I love horror. So I was like, yes.
Actually, someone just told me about, I haven't seen it yet, but there's this film, I think it's called Host. I'm just looking at the sticky thing above the computer. And it's on Shutter, I think it's called, the platform. Have you heard of it?
Zoom.
Have you heard it?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, someone was telling me about it the other day, and I was like, I must watch that, because I'm very curious to know. And she said it's really good. It's scary. So I'm really curious to see what they did.
Me too, because like I just feel like a lot of technology now is going to play even bigger role in careers, because with everything going on, like I will not be surprised if they don't have like in-person auditions very, very much anymore, unless it's like
no, I mean, you don't need to now. Do you know what I mean? It's like I mean, it's funny, but I was doing that a lot before. It was because it's become such a big thing now to self-tape, which it never used to be. But
right.
Before Zoom, even long before Zoom, it was a lot of self-taping going on, where you literally would not go into audition in a room. You would just send in a self-tape, and that's kind of become the norm, as well as, and now Zoom. Now you don't have to go, across the country to have a meeting with the director or whatever. You can just Zoom in and out, and it's very efficient. Very efficient in so many ways. It's helpful. So yes, I don't think we have an alternative but to embrace it.
Right. Now, what have you been up to since pandemic started?
Well, actually, like I say, it's been really busy because one of the things that have been going out, and I honestly blame this on COVID. This film I have finished, the Icarus Stops for Breakfast. I can't remember if I told you guys about this or not, but Icarus Stops for Breakfast, which is a short film which took about which took 5 years to finish. Yeah, and you think, oh, a feature? I'm like, no, 12 minutes, 25 seconds. So it's a short film, but it had a CGI, and there was a lot of like technical stuff, which when you see the film, it's not even that much technical stuff, but there's stuff. And we also had 3 animals. We had an owl, a donkey, and a pig, and actors, of course. Very good actors, wonderful actors. But I sounded like Trump then, didn't I?
No.
Oh, God, that was scary. Anyway, but that film went out. I started to put that film out, and it started gaining this traction. This is last year, 2019, right? And then all of a sudden, it started to go like this snowball effect. So since, honestly, and I lie not, since the beginning of when we had the shutdown, the film has got into over 30 festivals, and it's won, I don't even know how many it's won. I think around 12 or 13, maybe more. Isn't that crazy? I know. I know. So
Congrats, first of all. That's incredible.
Yeah. So yeah, it's got to that where I told my mum the other day, and she goes, "That's a bit boring, isn't it?" And I was like, "Mum." Get it? She didn't mean the film. She meant getting into festivals. What a bitch, Mum. She was like, she's delighted, obviously, with my progress. So that has been, and I do blame it on COVID, because there's something about putting your attention on something which manifests more attention to the thing that you're putting your attention to. So, right. And I really had time to, just all that stuff that you do to market it, or to talk to people about it, or to reply to, to make the emails or whatever personal. And the other thing is, so many of the festivals, unfortunately, or fortunately in our case, had to go online. So there's very, very, around this time, nothing is in person. Everything's online, virtual, and in fact, we've got next week, it's actually going to be screening at the Catra film series, which is a summer series, or everything's online, and then they do a talk back, they do a Zoom talk back, and that's next week. And then it's going to be in October, there's like 3 that it's going to be in, and one of them, which is the Long Island Expo, which is, they are trying to do that in person. And then the other one that just got in is also trying to do it in person, which is it's called Redmond, I think it is, the Redmond Film Festival or something. But it's also, that's in Pennsylvania. So it's really been interesting. So just that kind of journey with the film. And it's so funny because I was thinking, oh my God, it took so long to finish, but then I guess it was the right time. Yeah, and that's, right. I think as a filmmaker or as an actor or whatever you are in this profession, you just have to trust in the timing of whatever you're working on, and not get impatient. God knows I wasn't, was I, after 5 years? But just really trust the process, because I was like, wow, okay, I'm just going to go with this. So that's been one really great thing. And then also working on various animated project, which is something that we've brought to the fore again, something which I directed a long time ago, and actually it's working with Judith Roberts, the Arisa lady, working with her, I know, right? So just looking at, because there's now more than ever, it's like anime, or
right.
Or just using that whole
right now, like I haven't, like, it's talked about a lot recently.
Because well, it's drawings, and you don't have to be in person. So that's a project that I've been working on, and then a full-length script with another writer friend. A lot of things actually that almost kind of I felt I put aside for a while. Suddenly I had time to bring out and about, and
right.
and just working really creatively on all these different projects. And, you know, Weird Sisters, I don't know if I ever told you. See, I don't know what I told you and what I didn't, Bryn, honestly, during that whole time. You know,
The only thing I know that you told us before we parted was you were going to be directing a play in New Jersey.
that was
And,
spring break. That was
you weren't going to be able to come back for second semester to teach.
So, which is such a great play. And honestly, I was saying to the other day, I was like, oh my God, you guys would like be all over it, because it's such a beautiful piece of art, and it's so, now more than ever, it's so it resonates just beautifully. I mean, I know it did when it came out, but even more so because it just covers all of the subjects that everyone is going through right now, and especially, you know, the younger, you know, anxiety,
Right.
anxiety, you know, gay love, straight love, suicide, coming to terms with your sexuality, and then this great love of life, and dealing with things outside your control, and being made to do certain things, which, abortion, oh my gosh, you know, it just goes every which way. And it's very, all the sexual content is handled so, I think, with such beauty and tenderness, and it's still brutal, but just the music is incredible. I mean, I felt very blessed doing the show, and I felt, very blessed doing that show. And even actually, what was great, Steven Sater apparently loves it when you do his work. And so I have posted it on Instagram that, the show is opening, and I think I put it on Facebook as well. Fake book. And he goes, he actually sent me a message saying, I hope that it's bringing you and your crew and cast as much joy as it did when we opened this show many years ago. And so that was really cool. Yeah. I was hoping you would come, but you didn't.
I would have, if I was in your shoes, I would have hoped the same thing. Yeah. And I think that's really cool. I love that.
Yeah, no, so that was like, and I was lucky, it literally came down under the wire. So I was like, thank God, because all of the work, because it's like a full, you know, it's like a triple threat: dance, movement. It's not really dance, it's movement, music, obviously dialogue, and the set was really, you know, it's a really incredible set, which I hadn't. The set designer came up with this great concept which I hadn't seen before, you know. And you obviously, you know, I'd not seen the Broadway version, but I watched it on YouTube, obviously, and it's just the kind of theater I love, because it has to be seamless in order to work. You know, the only way that and this is really right up my alley, is that you don't really have very sparse scenery, and every part of the set becomes another environment or another room or another place, and you do it, and all of it's done with lights and sound and the music. So yeah, it was just amazing, man. Like, every time I think about it, it makes me happy.
No, I love that. I love just sitting here talking with people and just like hearing how like things make them feel and the stuff they're working on. When I hear you speak about it, I just hear and I see so much passion and love with it, and I love listening to you talk about it.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, I mean, I know any of us that are in this business, you've got to have that passion, and you've got to have that love for what you do, and sometimes it's really hard. And I think I probably told you guys, you know, it's not going to be like a bouquet of roses out there, chaps. Just be ready. But you know, you do have to believe in it and stay grounded and do the work. I mean, that's honestly the most important thing. Just do the work and just focus on that, rather than, you know, I want to be a star.
That was a pet peeve of mine, Abigail. When I hear people say that, I get so frustrated, because it's like, you truly are not going to get far in this industry if that's what your main goal is. You have to be passionate. You have to love the work. You have to be willing to do the work. And if you aren't willing to do any of that and you don't like have any love towards the like your work, like it's not bound it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, and if it does happen, then it's usually quite short-lived in those
That's very true.
situations. But it's okay. I mean, it's such a virtual world now anyway. Everyone feels like they can be famous because of all the reality shows that are on. So it's like it's all out there, and that's okay. It's totally okay. It's whatever, as long as it's entertaining and it's not hurting anyone. Hopefully, not hurting anyone. That's really the main thing, isn't it? That you find whatever you can, and you never know where your journey is going to go. I mean, I certainly, when I first started out in this business, I didn't think I'd be anything but an actor, and that sure as hell is wrong. And now I'm very happy to be in what I do, which is teaching you lovely people, and then and directing film and theater, and that to me has been such a great place to be traveling, a road to be traveling along, in that way. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, see, when I originally decided that I wanted to act, I already knew that I wanted to do everything else. Like I've directed a couple one-act plays because I had to write them for a class.
Oh yeah,
So,
good.
Yeah, and actually one of them I'm trying to turn into a movie script, which I've been working on for 4 years. So I feel how you feel with your short film.
Oh, yeah. 4 years is nothing.
No, I agree with you. It's crazy because it's weird. I'll go back to it at the weirdest times and start picking at it. And I've been really struggling with the ending of it for a really long time because I have multiple endings that I'm thinking of, and I'm like, maybe I can just when I get on set and I actually start filming this, I can just do multiple endings. And I'm like, I don't know how much money that's going to cost either. So, Bryn, you just need to pick and go with your gut. And
one. Pick the strongest one.
Pick the strongest one.
Yeah.
That's harder. There's so many different ways that this ending could happen. And then I'm also trying to it's kind of it's like a slasher film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's like a slasher film more than anything. But I'm like debating on who should the killer be? What are his motives? Like there's so much that goes into writing as well, and like how you want to write your characters and like everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just love the process, but it can be so much, and it's like I don't know what to do.
Well, I mean, what you could do would be try out the endings, just read the endings with a group of people and see what sounds strong.
Right.
Which would be fun to do, actually. That'd be really fun to do.
Because I even tried for a while. I had a couple friends in New York. I was like, can you please like just read this when you have a chance? Like I know you're busy with school, but like please. And I've gotten like good feedback from people, but of course they didn't have an ending to read. So they were like, well, what's going to happen? I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to debate. So I might honestly like just get a Zoom group and be like, hey, let's read this way and just.
Yeah, totally. And then see, and see which ending, have a vote.
Right. No, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, a lot of these movies, like for Halloween, for example, they're doing, they rebooted it in a sense, and they did screenings. I don't know who gets to go and whatnot, but they'll do screenings to see how people like it. And I mean, you want to put good material out there. You want to put the best material you can out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's never going to hurt to like test it or read it or whatnot. It's always good to get others' opinions, especially
and I mean,
involved in the same industry.
And so many times, that people will have to reshoot.
Oh yeah.
the ending because the ending doesn't work, and it just and you know, very often that's the other thing, is like putting out you know, obviously this is further down the line, but putting out your, getting the audience survey back, and very often in those situations they have said they've taken that information and they have changed
Right.
something significantly. Obviously not the actors, but they've changed what they can do with the trajectory, or the especially I've heard many times the ending being reshot,
Oh yeah.
where it just wasn't kind of landing in the way it needed to land. So
Yeah.
it's good though. It's interesting just to pick that, all of that stuff apart. Is the what, this is a horror film though, right? Is this a
Yes.
horror?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
Yeah. So what I did when I was in high school, it was about it was a four? Yeah, four friends. They were going on like a camping trip, and I think it was like they're like a small little senior trip getaway, like before they graduated high school or whatever. And uh this killer was after them. So it's like a low key like 80s vibe. But then it's like but it was thinking back, I was stressed at first because we had tech rehearsals like all week. And there was one day specifically that they were supposed to program the lights. I come in the night of the performance, none of it was done. I was like, I was like, you're joking. I was freaked. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna throw up. What's going on? Like thinking about it right now, I'm like gonna get sick. Like it was so stressful. I was like, okay, let's just go through this. My actors are already ready. We have like, I think 45 minutes. This shouldn't take long. Like, let's just go through it. I'll help you. Because my teachers were like, we can help her. I was like, no, I got this. Don't worry about it. It's go handle everything else. I got this. So I was helping the one girl with all the light changes and everything. And like, we got it all together.
Yeah.
Within like 15 minutes before we were starting to let family, friends, whoever was coming to see it that night. I was like, amen. I was like, that was the most stressful thing in my life. But it was like, at the same time, like I also afterwards was like, it was nice to oddly stress about that because it
Well, it
proved,
gets the adrenaline going, doesn't it?
yeah. And it like when I was like so blown away too once I saw the performance. I was like, oh my gosh, my friends, they killed it. I just love it. Because I'll keep rambling if I don't just get to my point. I just love it.
Say, actually, you want to look at, I didn't do this with you chaps. I don't think, I'm trying to think what scenes we did. What scenes did we do?
Jennifer's Body.
Jennifer's Body. Okay, I was going to say, I love that film. I love that film so much. You've seen it. You saw it, right?
Yes, I've seen it. Yeah.
But I just think that was such a great use of, well, it's girl power. And it's so interesting, that film. And just such an unusual take, you know. And I think it's underrated as well. So I loved it. I love that film. And which is why I was like, yes, let's do Jennifer's Body. What was the other one? We did Jennifer's Body, and what was the other one?
We did Friends. I know we did Friends.
Oh, we did, yeah, that was fun. No, there was something else though. I did Jennifer's Body, or did we just do Jennifer's Body?
No, I think we did another one, but now I can't. Oh gosh,
I can't.
I did Jennifer's Body with Noelle.
Yes, in the library scene.
Library scene, yeah.
Maybe
what was the other one?
Don't know. It's that bad that we can't remember. How quickly we forget. What was it? Seriously.
Don't bother me
now. The other scenes. Hang on. It's coming. It's coming. Oh, it's it was hell's bells. I can't remember the name of it. But I can see the actors. Winona Ryder. Heathers.
Oh, Heathers.
Heathers, which was also great because it was like dark and sadistic. Yeah. Yes, we went the dark route, didn't we?
Dark stuff is so much like
It's huge fun. It's so much
better
fun.
to do. I love it.
You said, I mean, you could look at both of those as kind of, well, they're very much on that horror spectrum, aren't they? They're very much on that that dark, and I love that stuff. You see, I really like those films are so classic. Both of those films,
Right.
and it's always interesting to play that stuff as well because you have to play on that edge of truth, but then you also have to feel, you know, it has to be suspenseful and it has to have that tension and all of those things that go into making a scene just really juicy, you know.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah, I'm so glad we remembered the other one.
Oh yeah, me too. And as soon as because I'm very good at like depicting actors in certain films or like certain films with and whatnot. Thank God, because I got some knowledge. It means I got some knowledge. I just I mean I
You
love
what? Yeah, you what?
it. I love everything about this industry.
Yeah,
So
no,
much.
it's there's a lot to tap into, and like now more than ever, because
Exactly.
you know, that's the other thing I didn't tell you about this, which actually you might want to check it out. One of the I do voiceover work from time to time, and one of the things that I did, which actually he Hadrian Royo was one of my students at NYU directors, and he's now an alum, and he wrote with his wife. They wrote this. Well, she wrote it. He produced it, directed it. They came up with this thing called Crypto Z, and it's a sci-fi thriller, kind of a sci-fi thriller. And I actually did play a creepy psychiatrist in it, typecast again. So, but that's out right now. So he did all of this. It was all the obviously it's because of the podcast. So all audio, and he did this. He was doing this before lockdown. He was like it took a year for him to get all the elements together. So it's tons of different actors that were playing all of these different parts. And then he, you know, obviously edited it, put it together, and we just had the first 4 episodes. I think it was at the beginning of lockdown, I want to say, but I can't really remember. But it's 10 episodes, and he did. So the 4 episodes have been playing. It's on Apple, so if you want to check it out because it's free. And they have quite a big. It seems to be gaining a lot of traction. So that was Crypto Z on Apple, and yeah, I mean, it was extraordinary what he did, actually, and could not be more appropriate for the time that we're going through right now. And he didn't know, obviously, that this was going to happen. But I was like, wow, man, you have great timing. Again, you know, it's all in the timing. So I think the other 6 episodes are coming out probably in the fall. They're done and everything. He's done them. He's just kind of gauging the time.
Right.
The time to do it. And actually, out of that, what we're doing is we're going to be doing a workshop together for voiceover and podcast experience. So and how to use Zoom, because you know Zoom has become such a vital part of our lives, hasn't it?
Yes.
So that's, and you know, and it's not just actors as well. It's just everybody is dealing with this, and it's also, you know, how do you make people feel, how do you make yourself feel comfortable in the box? Ooh, that was weird. What's that? Oh, someone's asking. Someone's asking for FaceTime. Sorry, I'm gonna have to decline it. Isn't that, can you see me?
No, I can't see it. No.
Oh, I'm gonna just decline. Hold on.
I'll have to FaceTime them later.
Yeah. Actually, that's another project I'm working on. So they're just like they're spilling out of the woodwork, man.
Right. No, I love that. I'm glad that you're getting work.
Yeah.
I'm ready to start working, and I feel like a lot of actors are ready to start working again anyways. I know a lot of TV shows are actually going to get back into filming within the next month or 2, and that's a little nerve-wracking, and they're even saying like they're not sure how it's going to go. And you know, there's ones that I'm waiting to get back into production, like in Georgia, that I really want to get into. So I'm kind of even skeptical on how those bigger sets are gonna end up working out and what they're gonna do.
Well, I know what they're doing now is, because a couple of my casting friends, casting director friends, they're saying that what had been happening about a month ago was that they were doing, and they were all non-union, so which is good for you chats if you haven't got your cards yet. But they were doing a lot of non-union shoots, and they were obviously very skeleton crew and able to keep a safe distance from everybody. I don't know what they did about the makeup and stuff. You probably would have to do it yourself, right? But that was something that was definitely starting to emerge. I mean, the trouble is, this country is in such a bad way right now, so who knows when we'll be able to get back to anything. But I know another friend of mine did a Hallmark film. So, and I meant to ask her actually, well, how do they do that? I must ask. I keep meaning to ask her and I keep forgetting.
Right, because Hallmark's huge, like, that's a huge area.
So they probably, maybe it was a smaller script. I don't know. I should really ask her. But
I think because I keep hearing a lot of things of how you either have to get tested before you get on set, or they're going to be taking. You do? Okay. And then I think they're going to take your temperature like every day when you come on set.
All of that. I mean, I don't know if you've been to the dentist or all that, but he does this thing. There's this thing they stick here. And actually, I was just doing one of the Italian film festivals. They did everything. They were one of the few places that did, because Italy is actually getting back now. Italy's really coming back into the forefront because they suffered so badly earlier in the year. And so they're starting to get back the engines moving again. But they did an online. They did an in-person film festival, and they put the chairs. I mean, it was outside. It was all outside, which was obviously key. So the chairs were 6 feet apart. They would spray everything down every night after the show. Clean everything. They were handing out, sanitizer and taking everyone's temperature, and everyone was in masks. Crazy, right? But it worked. They did it very safely and very efficiently. So it worked. So it's just, I think you just have to be super, super careful and safe.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I should think, I would think that now, well, we'll see, I guess, but things will start to slowly, I mean, it's never going to be the same again.
Oh, no.
It's always going to be different now.
Exactly.
But that's life, So, have you got any other stuff coming out or yet besides that?
Well, I'm waiting to hear back on if and what parts I'm going to have, but I'm supposed to go down this weekend for the next 7 weeks to work on 4 different movies. I mean, I'm still going to be cautious and wear my mask when I'm not on camera and stuff but it's going to be weird because of course everything going on, and then not having been on set since last July, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen and what I'm going to do. But that's the big thing coming up right now, just my 2 web series, finishing them off, starting to upload podcast stuff eventually, and then filming until October. And so, like I said, I'm very blessed with where I'm at right now because I feel like I'm very lucky.
No, it sounds good. Have you spoken to anybody from school?
I've talked to a couple different classmates. I'm waiting to hear back from some teachers. I know, because the other day, I guess something happened with our email system and somebody was trying to hack it and because a lot of us had to change our passwords because we went to open the Dropbox thing that was sent. And they were like, no, don't open it. If you did, change your password now. Even if you didn't, I would recommend changing your password. It was crazy on there. So, but I mean, a lot of them have social media. So I've been able to just message them on Facebook or Instagram or whatever even too.
Yeah.
And then I've just been, trying to set up other podcast interviews. I have, well, each season that I'm doing, I'm going to have 10 episodes. So
Right.
right now I have seasons 1 and 2 full, and I'm very, very grateful and still kind of taken back that I have that many episodes to edit and post.
Good.
But
Great.
I'm happy about it because then that keeps me busy when I'm not doing anything. So
That's great.
it's great. I love everything that I'm doing and able to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's keep busy. Just keep busy and active. Cool. Yeah. Love it.
exactly. And then I also have another web series that I'm going to do like either at the very end of this year or the beginning of next year on Comic-Cons, because I keep getting many questions from people, and why not just make a little mini series of it, just going through scheduling and saving and ticket prices and all that. Like, it's not going to be that hard. So
No,
it'll
people.
be very beneficial for those who haven't been to cons or are looking to go to bigger ones. And
Yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure you're going to have people are obsessed with that, right? So you shouldn't have any problem with that.
no. So yeah, I mean, I just keep doing more things, and I just keep repeating it, but I just love it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Good. Good. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's amazing. Amazing.
well, I actually have another question for you though. I know you've been doing this for a very, very, very long time. And are there any particular projects like that you've directed or acted in that have really stuck with you? Which one has been your favorite and why?
Which, oh my God, does it matter whether it's film or theater? I
No.
don't think, well, this is the crazy thing. The last thing I do is always my favorite thing. Do you know what I mean? So like, I mean, but I guess if I went back, yeah, there's so much. I mean, this is what I would say is don't do anything you don't really believe in, because it takes a really long time to do. Usually it's, well, not so much theater, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel with that one, but
Right.
film especially can take many years. But yeah, everything I mean, like, I loved Icarus. Everything about making that film was great, and now I really want to make a feature. And I really loved Spring Awakening. But then before that, we were in LA with Saugerties, and that was also a joy. It was a joy to do theater in LA. I'd never done that before. So it's like every experience has something special about it, and the people that you work with, this, that's always very special. I mean, going to Scotland with Paper Doll was incredible because of the environment that you were in, and then working on that play was incredible with incredible people, and in that place is so magical. Oh my God, Scotland. And I'd never been there. I had to come all the way to America in order to go to Scotland. How crazy is that?
My mom's good friend from high school actually got married in Scotland.
It
looks beautiful.
It
looks incredible.
Yeah, it's magical beyond belief. And yeah, it's magical beyond belief. And it's weird. I mean, they say it's the hops because you get up, you don't sleep basically when you're there, and you just get up and you're going nonstop the whole time. And there's so much theater everywhere you look, and so many amazing people and amazing shows. And I just kept thinking, wow, you just don't feel tired here. Like, you wake up so early, and then someone said, oh, it's the hops. So the smell of the hops apparently is what's responsible for you never feeling tired, because I just never felt tired there, and we didn't sleep ever. So anyway, but yeah, so I don't know if I answered that question very well, Bren, because it was all over the place. But yeah, I'll always say what I just did. Maybe maybe that's not so true. But right now I would be Spring Awakening, and it would be Icarus Starts Breakfast, and they're the right things that are currently in my life right now. Well, actually, Spring Awakening isn't, that's done. But it stayed with me.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, is that a good answer?
Yes, no, it was. I mean, everybody's answer is going to be different. Sometimes everything sticks with them. They can't pick one. And it just means that, at least in my brain, it just means that everything that you have done and that you plan to continue to do just has a certain piece that will always stick with you. And there's nothing wrong with that ever.
Yeah.
Be able to relate to different things on different levels.
And one informs the other. That's the other thing. Going back between theatre and film is very helpful, because this, you know, I always remember every time I go back to theatre, I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I'm doing this. This is what started the whole journey, was theatre. You know, I didn't start with film. I didn't go into film for quite a while. Theatre was the main gatekeeper that got me into this life. So, but now I'm very grateful to go back and forth between the two. That's incredibly informing.
Right.
You know, and do I prefer one over the other? No, they're both great.
Yeah. See, I love film. Let me start with, I love theater. I will always love theater. I grew up doing theater. But I do like film more, but I would always still go back to do theater. It still balances out, and it's still equally beautiful art that can be made on either a stage or on a set. So
yeah. So you don't have a preference, really, or you do?
Not well. I like film more. I would rather be working on like a movie or TV set, but then I would still also just go back to theater. So at the same time, it might as well just be like, I don't have a preference then. I love them both.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and you know, it's fine. Some people, I mean, this is the other thing, you know, with theatre, if you're theatre trained, it's much easier to jump into film. If you've only done film, it's very hard to go to do theatre, which is why, you know, you'll see very often those people that aren't theatre trained, once they get, you know, they've got this big name in film, and then they get on stage and it's like, oh no,
right.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
No, I agree. That's why I feel like I'm very, again, fortunate to have done theater growing up.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
there's still stuff that I learned while in school, like doing the film side, that I equally learned from theater.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's just you know, it's the technique is just different, obviously, you know, when you're it's just a very different technique. It's intimate and close, as opposed to out there and you know, like broader. It's much broader on stage.
Right. Well, my last question for you is basically, if anybody that watches this, or even if you're talking to alum, whoever, what is the best advice you would give to somebody who wants to pursue this career?
To pursue this career? Work hard. Be honest. Be truthful. Have a sense of humor. Never ever lose your sense of humor. Try not to work with assholes.
Love it.
But no, I would say just never lose your passion. I think the most important one is never lose your passion, and never give up. You know, never lose your passion, never give up. And I think if you start seeing the passion diminish, sometimes people have to take a break from it, because it's hard. You know, it gets hard out there. And that's okay, because sometimes you just need to recharge the battery. But I think, you know, it's so important to look after yourself as well, to really take care of this, and surround yourself with people that you love working with. I think that comes through again and again when you see people repeatedly work with the same people, because there's also a shorthand that comes with that, and an understanding that comes with that. And I know when I work with it's effortless as well. Do you know what I mean? Because it's so hard to make a film or do a theatre. It's hard to do anything in this business, really. It just comes with so many challenges, and the more that you love who you're working with and the more that you love the project that you're doing. So, because very often some people will say to you, that's just not possible. And you really have to kind of stick to your guns and say, yeah, it is. Yeah, I can do this. And so I would say, yeah, passion, drive, and sense of humor. Very important.
There it is.
And don't give up.
And don't give up. Exactly.
Yeah. That's my tuppence worth.
Love it. Well, Abigail, I'm so glad you got to do this. I loved talking with you. I missed being in class with you. So I'll obviously keep in touch, but thank you again for doing this.
And Bryn, if you want to go on the database, the actor database, did I send you that? Just email me at the NYU email and I'll send you that link.
Okay, sounds good.
Put yourself on the actor database for the directors, the grad directors.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
I sent it to you, right? Did I send it to you already? I can't remember.
I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, yeah, I'll email you though.
Don't forget.
I won't. I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much.
All right. So great to see you, darling.
You too.
Take care.
You too. Bye.